Welcome to the Florandorder Time Chat. Today I'm joined by Laura Thain, executive coach, facilitator, and host of the Contagious Leader Podcast. Laura is all about helping leaders step into their next chapter with confidence and clarity. But what I really love is her approach to time. It's not just about calendars and to-do lists. It's about energy, fulfillment, and putting yourself back at the top of your own list. So in this chat, we're going to talk about the power of fueling yourself first, how well-being can lift productivity, and why it's not selfish to prioritize what lights you up. So welcome, Laura.
Thank you, Christy. It's so good to be here. We were just saying, right, that we were planning on doing this before Christmas, and then my bad, I had to push this out until the new year, but we've both benefited a nice break and rest to be able to enjoy the conversation with a little bit maybe clearer heads, I think. So that's good. So thank you for having me. And yeah, I love this topic. So I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, yeah. It's really it's quite nice that it ties into fueling yourself and having had a break, and that we're both here feeling fresher. And yeah, I suppose in a reflective manner, my first question is, well, how did you get into this line of work? What's drawn you to it?
Well, I had climbed I had my 17-year, I think it was, in total corporate career, like many of us, and I climbed the ladder through that time into leadership positions. And I found that as I was leading, that I absolutely had my own personal journey with leadership. Went from thinking I was great to realizing that I definitely wasn't as great as I thought I was, or being as effective as I thought I was. And then slowly over the course of time and the years of doing that, I really just found my fulfillment from the leadership and the people development side of what I was doing, rather than, let's say, the technical side of the work that I was doing at the time. My background, I was working in recruitment agency for that whole career span. And so for me, I reached a point where I kind of fell out of love with the core job of recruiting. I'd done it for, like I say, 17 years by that point. And I ignored the niggle for probably about 4 or 5 years. And then it slapped me in the face and said, Laura, do something about this. And so long story short, I packaged up all of the pieces of my role at that point in time that I really did enjoy, that fulfilled me, that I was really very interested in line with, the areas that were my strengths as well, and stepped out into the coaching world to be able to help and support other leaders on their own leadership journey.
Amazing. And I like that what you said there about ignored the niggle for like many years. That really resonates with me. What was that moment where you're just like, I can't ignore this anymore?
Oh my goodness. Like, how long have you got? I was actually driving. I wasn't driving, I was a passenger in a car, but we had just had when I say we, myself and a good group of friends, had just been away celebrating a friend's 40th birthday, actually. Had a fantastic weekend. I'd probably taken, say, the Friday and the Monday off work, so a long weekend off work, and had a fantastic weekend. And this sounds very sad when I say it, but driving back and knowing that I was going to work the next day, I just had that, like, I can't, like, I felt suffocated. And it sounds very extreme when I say that, but it was the truth. It is the truth. I felt constrained and suffocated. And it wasn't the first time that I'd had thoughts and feelings like that before. But at this point, I was just like, Laura, you got to do something about it. That's not good for anybody. Now, coincidentally or not, maybe, I was turning 40, must have been the following year. So let's say I was 39 at some point in that 39 year. And so turning 40. And I had this thing, which I think is very common, of, well, hold on a minute, like, if you're turning 40, what are you going to do with your life? If you're not going to do it now, when are you going to do it? And so those two things combined, the feeling came, the trigger point of turning 40 kind of, I would say, gave me the kick to actually do something about it that time.
Yeah, amazing. Having I just turned 40 last year, so I feel you on that. Yeah, that it builds this momentum in you. And do you find your clients are experiencing that kind of niggle with you?
A lot of them are, yeah, a lot of them are. Interestingly, when I started doing stepped out and doing my own coaching work, a lot of the work that I was doing at that time was around helping people at that very point of the career crossroads. And I don't love my job. I've fallen out of love with it. I don't know what to do next. I literally don't know where to start with this process. Help. And I was doing a lot of that work, and I still do a lot of that work. But what I found through doing that was that, so yes, it's very common, in short answer to your question. I think you know that too, right? You had your own moment, I believe.
Yeah.
And so what I found though doing that work was that of those individuals that were coming to me saying, I need a new career, I need a new job, I just need out help, 60% of them, and I've gone back through time after time just to kind of check my numbers on this, but it's about 60% of those individuals that came to me saying, I need a new career, I can't do this anymore. Actually, once we dug deep and did the coaching work, as you know, is, lifting the lid on the real problem and the real contributing factor to any challenge, we established that really the issues were something to do with the work that they were in, by sense of, for example, relationship with my boss. I'm overworked. I'm not having enough work-life balance. And so once we were able to work on those areas, and there were many other examples as well, but certainly relationships and their capacity, the ability to be able to do the job in a reasonable time frame, and driving work-life balance into the ground, were the two key ones, so very commonly or consistently rather, that were contributing to that feeling of I need out. Once we resolve those, happy as Larry. Never went anywhere, never left their job. And so that then kind of triggered me to do more of that sort of leadership coaching work. Yeah.
And a line that jumped out at me from your Instagram post was one of your clients sharing that if I have time for having just a coffee, other people will think I'm being lazy. And is that one of those things, like making time for a coffee, that really elevated that enjoyment of their job?
Yeah. I mean, it sounds crazy, right? But I think we could all resonate with that. A lot of the people that I work with are, I'm sure much like yourself and your audience, that ultimately they want to do well, they want to perform, they want to do well, and they want to be seen to do well. Like, they care about their reputation, they care about their results, and they care about also though enjoying it along the way. And so having a coffee, having a break to have a coffee for a lot of those people, and I would have been there for sure in my own career journey and certainly leadership journey. I can't do that. Like, it's, we're on time here. I've got to make calls. I've got to hit KPIs. I've got stuff to do. I can't be seen to be doing that because it will be perceived like I'm slacking. And so it's very real for a lot of people. But what I certainly realized over my time, and clearly with this particular client, and that's a real example that is just one, but very common across a lot of people, is that very notion of actually taking that time out will help you to do what you've got to do and what you care about even better, even quicker, even more effectively once you come back to it. Versus what we all do. I'm sure this was actually me yesterday. Keep going. And then we reach a point where it's like, hold on a minute, like, I can't even think straight. I wanted to do this one task in the next 10 minutes and it's 2 hours later. What? Right? We just drive our own productivity into the ground by not taking these breaks or whatever it is that we need to fill the cup back up. And we're more happy, we're more fulfilled, and then we're often more productive as a result.
It's that resting is actually productive seems to be something that we as a society can't seem to wrap our head around. And it really doesn't make people do that pseudo productivity, constant emailing, constant having to look busy for the sake of justifying their role.
That's right.
What else do you see with your clients? What are they doing to look busy, look like they're justifying their client their work, and then having to break that down?
Yeah, well, I mean, a big one is not really conscious. Well, certainly none of these things are really conscious. People aren't going, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to not take any breaks today, and then therefore I will look like the best person in the room. Like, it's not conscious.
Yeah.
None of this is largely conscious, right? These are just ingrained habits or ingrained behaviors that, quite frankly, we've all grown up in and around in a corporate world or working environments where that kind of was the way it was, right? And the dictatorial type of leadership styles that still exist, but certainly existed perhaps more so however many years ago, that certainly I would have, spent some time in as well. So none of these things are conscious, but the other key thing, or one of the other key things that I see certainly leaders doing, is not delegating enough. So they're keeping themselves busy by just say in black and white, it's not as obvious as this, but holding on to the workload to prove that I'm needed, I'm adding value, I'm worthy, and I'm doing good things here because look how much I'm achieving and look how much I'm doing. Again, repeat, none of this is conscious. Clearly not. And again, I would have done these things along, I'm sure at times along the way of my own career journey as well, very subconsciously. But it's this sense of a couple of things. Sometimes it's I'll do it better. I won't give the task away, therefore I'll do it because I'll do it better, or I'll do it quicker, or I'll do it faster. A lot of the time that might be true. Let's face it, we might have a team that's not got the skill to be able to do things just yet, or what have you. But likewise, we know that really as the leader, it's not about just doing everything yourself to tick the deliverables. It's about empowering others and delegating and upskilling other people along the way. Key leadership, part of leadership. So it's a bit of a catch-22. Where do I put my time? Do I upskill to delegate, or do I upskill the person so I can delegate more work, or do I just keep doing the work myself? A bit of a catch-22. I've lost my train of thought, Christy, on that. What was I?
Delegating and
delegating. Whether it was conscious or not. Yeah. So part of it is that I feel like I'll do it better myself, so I'll just do it, and it's faster than spending my limited precious time telling Laura how to do it. So I'll do it myself. Again, subconsciously. Some of it is around wanting to, it's a good deed almost. I want to protect their team from having too much work to do and limiting their capacity and making them work late or into the evening or long hours or whatever. So again, I don't want to overburden my team, so therefore I'll keep the task myself. I'll just do it. I'll help them out. So these are the sort of things that I see, and very commonly so, within certainly the leaders that I work with, that are without doubt contributing to their own inability to have time to breathe, to have the coffee, and just to be able to put themselves first.
And you're reminding me of, I was working with someone who was telling me about a bit of a project of theirs of renaming all of these documents. They had the name first and then the year, and they were going through and putting the year before, and they're like many years worth of documents. And I was just like, I think someone else could probably do that, because you're best used over here. Like these are the things that you need to be focusing on. And as you say, it's subconscious. It's like, oh, I'll just get in and do that. But like, that could be hours later. That could be that could be something like that someone's working on for ages.
And sometimes it's like almost an avoidance or a procrastination too, right? Like you must see a lot of that in, you're very dedicated in this time management space, I know. So it's almost, again, subconscious, but it's like I'm not quite comfortable doing that thing that I really need to do. So do you know what? I'll get my dopamine hit from ticking things off my to-do list, and I'll do these things instead. So I'm busy, I'm contributing, I'm adding value. I'm doing things, like you say, that aren't really designed for my pay grade or for my level.
Yeah. And how do you help your clients tap into the things that do light them up within their workspace, to pop them up further up the to-do list?
Yeah. Well, it's helping them to see what they value, what their values are, and what they value. So, we've all done work on values over the years, I'm sure. Me in my career, I must admit, I never really thought too much about my own personal values. I thought about company values. I've thought about team values. We would have done many a a workshop or a round table discussing those sorts of things, but I never really too much thought about my own values. Only when I started my own coaching journey did I lift the lid on that. And my God, like the power in that is just incredible. I describe it to people as almost like a North Star, but like a diagnostic tool. It's a diagnostic to be able to say, well, how do I feel about life right now? And is it good, bad, ugly, whatever's going on? And then it's very hard sometimes to put our finger on why, isn't it? It's like, I don't know, I feel a bit flat, I feel a bit meh, or whatever we feel. And so if we link it back to values, which is the work that I do with clients, one of the very first things that we'll do and revisit consistently is linking back to that cross-check of, okay, well, what do I value? Might be the 3, 4, 5, 6 things, right? Whatever that anyone's got. And thinking, well, what values are being met? What isn't being met? And typically there's a gap somewhere in these needs that we have. If we refer to them as, I call them values to help people understand, but I refer to them as life priorities. It's like, these are your life priorities. So for me, growth is huge for me. So if I take it back to that feeling of suffocation that I had in that car journey that day of like, oh my God, I can't do this anymore. Really what I realized with hindsight was that I wasn't growing anymore. I'd stopped growing. Therefore, high value of mine, need for growth, not being fulfilled anymore, not being met. And that was the output. So my productivity would have gone down definitely during that time. I was doing a good job, but I wasn't hitting everything that I should have been hitting, I'm sure. Because the motivation's not there. I wasn't fulfilled. And that's why I say fulfillment is the fuel to high performance in many cases. So values for sure, growth. If another one for me is health, like just general health, well-being. Yesterday, the prime example, various things happened. Anyway, I didn't get the exercise in that I wanted to. And it wasn't just a case of I wanted to and I didn't. It's like I didn't move my body as much as I need to, full stop, in the space of that 24-hour period or what have you, to feel clear in my head, to feel productive, to have the motivation and the drive to do work or to feel good. That's not bad. I did the work, put the work first. Naughty. Right? End result, it's good to live the experience sometimes. End result, I felt really quite flat at the end of yesterday. It really did. Like mentally, not anything severe, but just that feeling of like, oh, yuck. And I know, because I know the kind of diagnostic back through my list, well, what didn't I get today that I need to feel my best and to perform at my best? I didn't have this thing of health. I didn't do much movement or what have you. Now, it could have been I didn't, do anything to propel me forward or grow today. Generally doesn't impact me quite as much in the moment. The health one is like a day-to-day thing for sure. But it's an easy diagnostic to be able to help then to shine a light on, well, what areas do we need to fix, work on, elevate to maximize fulfillment and drive productivity.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. Really good. Yeah. And so I'm thinking
sounds a lot simpler than it is, right? When I say that, just like, that's how you do it. Yeah. That's how I would do it. It's not to say that's how you do it. It's how I would do it. And I find it works.
Yeah. I like your comment there about the lived experience, and it's good to have those dips to remember, to remind yourself.
Oh God, yeah. Like I do not ever profess to be. I've had a lot of lived experience in, certainly time, productivity, leadership. Leadership wins, learns, failures, all of that, good, bad, and ugly. I do not prefer that. That helps me to be able to help and guide other people now. But I never sit here and say, oh, I'm perfect and you're not, let me help you, you poor thing. By a long shot. I'm very realistic about that too.
Yeah, no, same here. I think it's important for people to know that you're human regardless of what it is that you're doing. And as you say, not practicing is actually practice, because it reminds you of why it's important. Which is what I say to people who feel like I've fallen off the horse, like, all my good work is down the drain. It's never down the drain. You just get back on the horse and do it again. Yeah,
totally, isn't it? Yeah, having that system, the structure, the framework, foundations, whatever you help them with, to be able to just fall back on that. Like, that's life, isn't it? That's real. I'm a big fan of being real.
Yeah, which I think, linking back to our earlier comment about like pseudo-productivity and, you know, not feeling you can even take a break or delegate work, that it's not real. It's a very machine way of looking at work and how people produce stuff. And I imagine a lot of your clients are like knowledge workers rather than other spaces. And yeah, breaks are just so important to deliver on what it is you've been employed to do. So yeah, we're not machines.
Yeah, not machines, not yet. Not yet, yeah. But even like the break could be short, like go away, get a coffee, go walk around the block, like something really quite physical like that. But sometimes the break, I find, certainly with myself and many of the clients that I work and partner with, is just as simple as, here I am at the desk, I'm at this document, I'm in the thick of it, the throes of it, and I just can't work it out, whatever it is. I just need to physically stand up and step back.
Yes.
You know, that thing of just get out of the weeds just for a moment, and then we get that perspective, and the different perspective helps us to go, hold on, like, I've been focusing on the wrong area. I've lost track of why I started this, because we're in the weeds with it. And, you know, like we say, we can't solve our own problems. You can't solve your own problem from within the problem. I'm sure you know that one. It's that very idea. You need to step back and step out.
Yeah. You've answered one of my questions I had floating there about, well, what do you prescribe? And I like that. Yeah, it's a range of movement as well as just simply standing up or just changing.
I encourage all of my clients that I work with to have a diary invite, like a recurring meeting with themselves, for themselves.
Oh, nice.
So adding to the diary, and it sounds counterintuitive when we're trying to, you know, streamline diaries and have less meetings and all of that, but have a recurring meeting with yourself, for yourself, whereby you spend it doing whatever you like, quite frankly, whatever fills the cup. But for a lot of the leaders that I work with, it is time to just have that perspective, to step back, plan, prioritize, strategy, whatever it is, that map the diary for the week ahead, you name it, that then helps them to freeze them, rather, to have more capacity later on throughout the week, month, quarter, whatever cadence they're doing that in. A lot of people love it.
Yeah, I agree with that. Because the amount of people I see that don't even have lunch in their calendar, I'm like, that needs to be in there. Even if it gets moved around, it needs to be in there, because you need to stop and have food.
Fuel back up, right? Yeah.
I was going to ask, so yeah, it can be risky for people to slow down in that sense. So do you see it as like a courageous act, almost, as like people slowing down and saying what they need and putting themselves at the top of the list? Because I can see that would ripple out to their teams, to the culture of the place, but that to be the first is kind of, it's courageous.
It certainly can be courageous, right? Particularly if you're working in an environment where the culture is such that that's really maybe frowned upon, or is just not the done thing, then for sure, like that I agree would be quite a courageous thing to do, perhaps, or a courageous moment. My belief on this is that if you back yourself enough, you've got the confidence in yourself enough at the level that is required to know your value, know that going for a coffee break or whatever, having the break that we're talking about, does not equal I'm lazy, or does not equal I'm not delivering, whatever it might be, then that's when people are more inclined or more likely to actually go and do it. Because it's not, if we think about it, the reason why people aren't doing it, because they're afraid of something, afraid of some kind of a repercussion, judgment, boss is going to pull me up, it's going to look bad, it's going to damage my reputation, whatever it might be. We're afraid of something. I'm afraid of, I might just be, I'm going to get behind on the to-do list, whatever, right? Like, they're afraid of something. Whereas if we've got the self-confidence to be able to back ourselves enough to believe and trust in our value that we bring, then we can reach a point where we know that taking the break doesn't equal any of those negative things, and care less about the potential perceived judgment of other people. And if judgment does happen, then it's being able to, again, have the confidence enough in ourselves to be able to go handle it or tackle it head on.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah.
Head on sounds quite confrontational, but you get the point. I don't mean like, come here. Just to be able to manage it and reframe it or stand up for yourself, whatever it is that you need to do.
Yeah. No,
but you're right. It is. If you think around leaders in particular, well, you're setting the example. You're leading the way, quite literally. So all of the behaviors that we perform or act out day in, day out as a leader are being watched by so many people. And they're good behaviors and bad behaviors, of course. Everything's being watched. And so if the leader's always never taking breaks, but then our team are maybe going to follow suit, and we're all going to burn out, where productivity is going to drop, or efficiency is going to drop, all of the things. So absolutely right. I talk around contagious leadership, not courageous leadership, but contagious leadership. And it is that very idea of the ripple effect, and any positive behaviors that we are again embodying as a leader are literally contagious to those other people around us, and the ripple from that down onto our team members, our stakeholders, leaders, out onto the street. My goodness, it shows up in how you order your coffee in the morning, doesn't it? If you're in a good mood, bad mood, all of these things.
Yeah, I love that, a contagious leader. Because it's so true that if someone's sending emails around the clock, that's just sending a message that you're supposed to be available, do this. And so I like when people are either using the delay function on their system, or they have those little taglines like, I'm doing this when it suits me, please don't feel like you need to reply, just because it does all have an effect on the culture around the person, the leader.
Yeah, it definitely does. Yeah. And you're right. And that's just setting the expectation, like having the clear conversation that says, hey, this is me. This is how I operate at my best. I in no way expect that you do too.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, I like that.
Well, this is flown by, but if someone was listening and they were feeling totally overwhelmed, what would you say was like one small shift that they should try to feel less so?
Oof, my goodness, just stop.
Just stop.
Pause, literally take that break, take that step back, close down the eyes. I mean, that's massive. I was talking to this about a client a couple of days ago, just that power of literally closing your eyes or putting your hands over your eyes to be able to black out all of the senses and stimulus around us. My goodness, you could do that for a minute and you'd feel better.
Yeah.
For the most part, I'm not saying that's like, the cure. But if we try it, like it really can help. So
it breaks the circuit.
Yeah, breaks the circuit, right? And calms the nervous system. Parasympathetic nervous system can kick in a little bit more. So if we're overwhelmed, I say stop. When we're overwhelmed, typically our default position is push through, keep going, because I'm overwhelmed and I need to get going and I've got shit to do, right? But if we stop, we'll be able to think more clearly, come back stronger, for sure.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful. Thank you so much for this. This has been such a great conversation. And I think the work you're doing is extraordinary because of that contagious element.
Yeah, no, thank you, Christy. It's been really fun. You're right. It has absolutely flown by. So no, always a good sign of a good, easy flowing, light conversation. So I'm glad. And thank you so much again for inviting me to talk and connect.
Oh, it's been a pleasure.